Hello there. Today is day 5 of working on a still untitled project, so let's hop right in. So today was mostly back-end work on figuring out what I want the enemies to be like before implementing more without having a plan in the first place. I'm writing up a document of ideas. So that's unfortunately pretty invisible work. What's a bit more visible is I downloaded a free asset to help with state machines. It's still hard code in C#, but it's a decent enough framework that should help me out. It's State Machines by Kevin Castiglione. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Should do everything I need, but I suppose there's a chance that I still swap again later, but I'd have to rework whatever I did. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I did a bit of cleanup. This Fire and Death script was misbehaving. It was making Unity unhappy because it was creating projectiles during the onDestroy function, which means that they show up in the scene after you exit the play mode. So I cleaned that up. I made it more tidy and killed child entities on death and made it go through the entity pipeline instead. I added score to the spiked enemy, minor but important. I also added in a spring to the spiked enemy. So if you fire the gravity wall, they get drawn in a bit, but they will spring back after the gravity wall dies off. It is a plant, so it's not supposed to just, go freely about like these guys can. A bit more invisible work. I swapped the existing controls to Unity's new input system. Well, it's new since I last used Unity. So that should allow for easier control rebinding down the line and easier controller support down the line. Though that is still not on the docket quite yet, but it should be before too long. That's all the critical stuff, so if you just want to click off the video now, feel free. But if you want to hear me ramble, a few other notes. I'm finding work on enemies is rather slow because I'm not actually a game designer. I'm a computer scientist, so a lot of this stuff is new to me. Like figuring out what enemies I want is not something I'm actually used to doing myself, and trying to come up with ideas is surprisingly difficult. I'm trying to figure out what my approach even should be right now. Like, am I going gameplay first, lore first? It's a bit of a mixed bag right now. The lore is a bit difficult right now because I don't have much written down. So I'm currently going with, my thought on it is I probably should go with gameplay first, like figure out what I want the actual game to feel like. And I keep forgetting I only have short-range weapons equipped everywhere else. I lost my train of thought. Go with gameplay first and work out the lore after the fact, though that feels a bit ass backward. It's probably the best approach for now, and it shouldn't be impossible by any means. I'll see how this works out. I'm still new to this. I'm still figuring my way. So, a lot of learning to be done. Something that I'm excited for, but learning's... you have to learn to learn, so... yeah. Anyways, I also don't want to just copy Nova Drift, though that is one of my sources for inspiration. It's very tempting to just go into that game, look at all the enemies, and then just start copying to hell and back. But I'd like to come up with my ideas first. Then I can look at what Nova Drift does, and then sort of like cross-examine and see what they do better, see what they might do worse. That's a very good game. Would recommend if you enjoy twin stick shoot. Well, it's not a twin stick shooter, but it's not totally unrelated. It's a good indie game. Yeah. So within the next few days, I'll be opening that up and taking a look at it, and then I might steal some ideas, but I don't want to do that up front. Also, side note, Unity's new input system is not beginner friendly. Like, it's straightforward enough once you understand what you're doing, but there is simplicity in just saying like input.getKey and using that. The new system, like, I accidentally read the wrong article. I read an article that is absurdly long, that goes into all the details about the input asset and all this stuff here. And turns out I didn't need to read any of that. I needed to read the other article that was linked to, that told me how to actually use this information, or use the functions that get called. And it's basically just all this stuff here. Like, these will just be sent out as messages. So you just need to implement the functions, and then you get the call, and bing bang boom, you're done. I don't know. It should be better in the long run, because it'll allow for easier key rebinding, which I may not do, truth be told. Like, that's a decent bit of work for probably next to no gain. And it will allow for controller support, which I really should do, because there will be people who want to play a twin stick shooter on controller, and I should oblige. I don't use controller myself, but a lot of people do. So, anyways, that's everything, I think. Oh, I was considering adding in a little health pickup when you kill the spec shield enemy, because it's like a little plant bud that's full of Aether. So that might be coming in the near future. Anyways, yeah, that's everything, I believe. So if you have any comments, questions, ideas, or anything else on your mind, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.